Hey everyone, it's your favorite CEO, Miss Flo, and welcome to another episode of Neon Mike where the conversation just glows. I'm here at MagFest this weekend and I just happened to stumble across this very giant whale. But here is the creator. If you could go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi there. I'm Nathan Marsh. I'm the creator of South Scrimshaw. It's a visual novel.
And what made you to create this whale? And can you describe your visual novel?
Okay, well, first, the visual novel is a science fiction nature documentary. So I make whimsical animals and I discuss them in a very grounded PBS style of narration. It's a linear visual novel, so it's not the kind of thing you set up an arcade booth for. So when I came here, I wanted to do something a little different, and I made a life-size whale calf. That was kind of the idea. So it's a community art project, really. The whales, they swim around in the story and they collect stuff on their back. So this whale came here to collect sketches. That is the short version.
But it's very sweet, and it's this was very smart because it definitely caught my eye for sure. And it seems like a lot of people have contributed to your collective art piece. What do you think is one of your favorite little drawings that people have put on the whale?
So my absolute favorite, there was this dad, he was pulling around his daughter in this wagon. She might have been 3 or 4, real young, and he was like, "Do you want to draw for the whale?" And she nodded yes, and she took the paper and a blue marker and she drew real diligently for 3 minutes, and then it's this really big scribble, it's so cute. So that one's my favorite. I had a couple people who were fans that came up and spoke to me, and they just wrote a thank you, which is pretty moving because I worked on this for years with no one reading it, so to meet someone like that has been pretty awesome. And a couple of them young artists that say I'm an inspiration, which is also wild, so it's been pretty awesome to be here. And then just some other ones bad whale puns, people drawing their favorite video game characters, people who say they can't draw and then they draw a really charming just fish doodle, so it's just been fun, an uncontrolled experiment. I feel fits the theme of the visual novel too. These whales, they swim around and they get symbiotic creatures living on their body and they don't really know what it will turn into, so yeah, it's been fun.
Well, I'm glad that it's always good to get that validation for something that you worked on for years, and just to see how it has impacts people. So if you could, how would you describe the game? How do you play the game?
So it's a visual novel and it's a linear visual novel. So there's not really gameplay to it. It's more like an animated feature. There are lines of dialogue that you can click on that give you more information, and it's kind of like a Wikipedia rabbit hole that adds context to the main story. So you find out a little bit about who the documentary crew is, what ocean you're in. It isn't Earth. So in that way, there's an interactive element, so it couldn't be a movie or something. But yeah, it's more of a narrative experience, and it's feature length.
Oh no, I get it, because the way you're describing it is kind of like when Netflix did you could control the interaction people decisions in the movie.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying though. That's basically your game. So
it's a little bit like that. Yeah, kind of.
That seems very relaxing. Usually with games, it's you're really trying to. It could be very stressful trying to meet the objective, but just to relax and play with this giant whale.
Yeah.
In the game, does the whale they only collect images? What else do the whales can collect?
So it's really a whimsical take on symbiosis with other animals. So in the case of this whale here that has plants on it, it would specialize in growing organisms that photosynthesize and collect sunlight, and then that's shared. The sugars are shared into the blood of the whale. So the whale would carry the plants to areas of sunlight where nothing will like block them. So it's like a mutual beneficial relationship. And some whales collect this like synthetic bone on their body that makes them look like scary predators, like eye spots. So it's like a defensive thing, and then the creatures that build the bone can live inside them as a nest. So it's just really creative and implausible takes on symbiosis and cooperative relationships. And then that's also a balance for every whale, so they have to like manage that on their bodies. And in this story, it begins with the life of one whale that's born into the ocean, and it has to begin collecting that for its body. And it's like a fork in the road where it makes permanent decisions that will then sort of spiral into something it can't predict in the future.
Oh, that's nice. Well, that's very enjoyable, interactive, educational. Like, I'm pretty sure like any educator would love to like have this game in their like classroom.
You know, I actually just last week a professor, I forget what college, she's a professor at a small college in Texas somewhere, and she teaches documentary filmmaking, and she asked if she could show South Scrimshaw to her class. So that was super fun. I would say it's semi-educational. I want to keep like the foundational science of evolution solid. So, animals come into existence through, natural selection, and I try to justify all the animals that exist through that logic. But the animals themselves are really silly and whimsical, so, they're not necessarily realistic. It's not very hard science fiction. Some speculative evolution is, like, really precise with the science, and I love that stuff too, but I'm way more on, like, the fun, rule of cool. Whatever is fun to me is kind of what makes it into the project.
And I think that's what makes your project special. It's like it's not always about what the algorithm or what's really trending. It's just about your interest and in the way that it resonated. Even before I started the interview, I saw a fan of your work just giving you your praises. So it's definitely paying off for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of the way I interact with people is like through the internet. I've been receiving like tweets and stuff like that online, and that's awesome. But it's been really different to have people come up and speak to me about it. Like it's, I'm still like absorbing that that's the reality. And I would have been doing, it's like, at a summer, it's a visual novel, and that's a niche medium, and I'm doing something that's niche. And, I was like, I would be okay with that, if someone would discover it eventually, but to actually be able to interact with, people who do care has been, really, really meaningful. And it's like, I don't know. I don't want to, like, get too, like, teary-eyed or overstate it, but I mean, it's been my life for, like, I started it, like, 4 years ago in, like, in between jobs, and, I mean, it's very densely illustrated, and I think part one is, like, 400 illustrations by the end of it.
Oh,
so,
wow.
yeah, I mean, it's, like, it's kind of draining to put out that much effort to talk into yourself, So
I totally get it. But it looks absolutely amazing from the art design for your poster. You said this is part one, so can we expect a sequel?
yeah, so part one is the first 4 chapters. The next 4 chapters, part 2 is going to be in early access. The first chapter I'm hoping will be out early summer. It's just the bottleneck to get it done is really the artwork and how much painting I have to do. But yeah, the story continues. And the future chapters I'm going to try to make longer so that people following it will feel like each update is, has substance, and is, worth the wait. But yeah, so it'll continue. Basically another 4 chapters to finish the story, I think. And I'm well into production. The art's going good. I'm just trying to keep a lot of it secret, until the actual release.
All right, nice. Now, are you doing this all on your own?
Yeah, I do everything except for the music, which I license stock. It's a lot. Having to do everything myself has made all the choices very intentional. I've worked on, films and giant collaborations, and that's awesome too. but you know, doing everything myself, I feel like despite all the headache has made it a very considered product, in the end. And yeah, my next visual novel, I will have more people helping me.
Well, that's great, and I hope that you do assemble a team because it's a very cool, unique concept, and it seems to be doing very well. Where can people find your game?
So southscrimshaw.com will have a link to basically all my socials and where you can get it at. It's on Steam, GOG, or itch.io. It's free to play. And I also sell a making of art book on Steam and GOG for people who do want to support the project financially. That would be one option. Then they would get, I tried to make, like a thoughtful reflection on how I got to this release. And sort of also as a thank you to the people who have been, so kind to me. I've just mind-blowing the kindness I've received from some people. Yeah, I mean, it does mean a lot, so.
All right, well, I wish you all the success. I'm definitely going to check out the game for sure. It's available on all platforms or just PC?
Just PC right now. It's on PC and Linux on Steam, and if you have a Mac, you can get it on itch.io. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the verification for Mac on Steam. I have no programming skills, so eventually it will be on Steam on Mac, but you can get it, yeah. But it's PC, it's not consoles or mobile yet, so.
Got it. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you so much.
And is this your first time at MagFest?
It is, yeah, and it's my first time taking South Scrimshaw to a convention, so it's a lot of firsts here.
Well, that's good. So, I hope that you have fun for the rest of the weekend, and I can't wait to see the game.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you for stopping by.
All right, no problem. And see how you guys glowed from that conversation? I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!